heard that phrase in the book of Revelation, I don't know what will further convince you that this is Jesus. Because in Revelation chapter 1, it says that he will rule the nations with a rod of iron. In Revelation chapter 2, it says that we who are united with Christ will rule the nations with a rod of iron. In Revelation chapter 12, the woman who is clothed with the sun gives birth to a male child who, guess what, rules the nations with a rod of iron. All of this is in the book of Revelation. He keeps emphasizing this element, and it's all an allusion to Psalm chapter 2. Psalm chapter 2 is a messianic psalm. And in here, he talks about, he who sits in the heights of heaven laughs. The Lord has made them in derision. He will speak to them in his wrath and terrify him in his fury, saying, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will tell of the decree of the Lord. He said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. To be sure, this was said on the installation of a new king of Israel. But it was an anticipation for that ultimate king who would rule the nations with a rod of iron and dash them into bits who were not in alignment with him, those who were opposed to Mount Zion and the covenant that God had established through David. Jesus is that person that fulfills this. And so what it is saying in Revelation is that he is the king. He is that messianic king. And if you missed it, then you need to read the rest of the verse. From him is sharp mouth which strikes down the nations. He'll rule them with a rod of iron. He will tread the winepress of the fury of the wrath of God Almighty. And on his robe and on his thigh he has a name, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Jesus is that King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Now there's a lot that needs to be said about this. Like the winepress of the fury of the wrath of God. Where have we heard that before? Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He has pulled out his vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. Where did I forget the name of the gal that wrote that, but anyway, the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Where did she get that image? We already been here. Revelation. No, I'm sorry. I missed it. Revelation 14. Revelation 14 talks about, then I looked, and there was a white cloud, and him seated on him was one like the Son of Man, the golden crown on his head, and a sharp sickle. And another angel said, use your sickle and reap, for the hour to reap has come, because the harvest of the earth is ripe. Use your sharp sickle and gather the cluster of the vine of the earth, for its grapes are ripe. So the angel swung the sickle over the earth and gathered the vintage of the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden outside the city, and the blood flowed from the winepress as high as the horse's bridle, for a distance of about 200 miles. We went over this. This is the same image. It's repeating itself. This image that God will put vengeance upon the earth for those who oppose his will. And it's the winepress of the wrath of God. That's what's being alluded to here in Revelation, again in 19. Now, this goes on, but our time, I'm afraid, has escaped me. So we're going to find out to whom he builds this wrath to specifically in this image next week.